Billy Liucci from TexAgs. Billy, can you hear me?
I can hear you guys.
What's up, man? We must be getting closer to football season, dog.
Well, I mean, I'm on the plane flying from College Station to Chicago. All hell breaks loose. Luckily, I've got Wi-Fi, but apparently the flaps on the plane don't work, and we almost had to make a water landing. So that was fun.
That's my nightmare. That's my nightmare.
Never happened. I've never heard of it. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never been on a plane with it. And he was like, we're trying to land, but the plane's not cooperating. I go,
oh my God. Over water?
Like what? Don't tell me that. There's stuff I need to know, and there's stuff I don't need to know. Just tell me, hey, we're having a little bit of trouble with something that's not going to cost you your lives, I promise. I don't want a Sully situation or Denzel landing the plane upside down while he's drunk on mimosas.
That's what nightmares are made of.
You did do that, though.
That is
I didn't know what was going on, but I was so wrapped up in the Jimbo Saban beef and coming guys and getting on with my day that I was like, let's land this damn bird. But
that's exactly right. Well, Billy,
I found out a lot more.
Go ahead.
A lot more later than I wanted to know. I'll put it that way.
Well, Billy, listen, I want to give you the floor after what you heard from Saban at the event and Jimbo this morning. What is just straight off the cuff? How are you feeling over there in Aggie land?
First off, I think Jimbo and Jake, I saw you tweet a few weeks ago, and I got where you were coming from. It was like, well, Jimbo needs to just stop addressing it. And I agree. After because at the time with what Lane said, when another coach in your league starts saying that, it's just like, okay, man, it's like almost like a rap battle, right? When they put your name in that rap, it's like, I got to respond. And he did. And that was that, right? And it needed to just go away. Well, then when Nick Saban, who is, what is he, like he's the Jay-Z or the Biggie of when he says that, the way he came out and man, I'll be honest, just man to man, that's disrespect.
Yeah.
And it's blatant and it's a holier than thou, ivory tower, like, we would never, he literally said, we didn't pay for one player. A&M paid for every single player. Those words came out of his mouth. He even said on their whole team. I just think for Jimbo, there comes a point in time where you're like, hey, I've tried to play nice on this thing. This guy's been on my nerves for a long time. I don't really like him anymore. And that's always kind of been a vibe that I've felt with that. And because of antics like this and because you heard it all come out, in my opinion, today. And Nick finally gave him a reason to take a blowtorch to it. And look, Greg Sankey's got to step in and sit down. All these guys say that's enough's enough. That's the league, but he needed to give Jimbo his chance to get his pound of flesh, because what Nick did, I thought it was rat-like behavior. It was sour grapes. Look, man, you lost one football game to A&M in 9 years. You finally got beat by one of your assistants. I'm sorry that you got knocked over running off the field because the fans stormed the field. I'm sorry they bruised your arm and you complained about it, which I think that bruise was on his arm during the game if you carefully rewatch it. So I think we caught him in that little lie as well. But then you lose to Kirby Smart, your other former assistant. I know you would have beaten them probably with Jamison Williams, almost certainly with both of those receivers. I think they would have. I know he thinks they would have. So I know that's extra. That's sticking in his craw too. Then you don't land the number one recruiting class, and A&M does. And they break up your country club little party there. Here comes Jimbo in his boots and his cowboy hat and kicks in the door to your private club there.
He pulled a Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
He pulled a Cousin Eddie. He showed up. Hey, crap is full.
And he is lashing out as a result. And I'll be honest, guys. I have always had all the respect in the world for Nick Saban and Alabama football. They're the program I've rooted for, and I don't do it because, SEC. Every year, if it's, when I'm covering A&M, if it's not A&M, and I don't get to cover something like that, I'm like, look, they're the alphas. I like to see alphas win. I root for Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, Jordan. I just like seeing greatness, at work and sports because it's so hard to achieve. What I saw today was a guy that all I can say is, I saw a 70-year-old man acting like a really sore loser yesterday.
He looked human, Billy. Like it's the first time, and I said this in the open, for somebody that is the best ever at getting teams prepared and, like Cone said, limiting distractions and focusing on the process and not giving out rat poison. You just dumped the biggest dump truck full of rat poison onto Texas A&M's lawn. Now, A&M, look, it's going to be tough to beat Bama in Tuscaloosa after what happened last year. This isn't last year's team, even though I know, Calzada wasn't exactly Joe Montana, and that's going to bleed into Blaine's question as we kind of wrap up here. But, Billy, it's the first time I've ever seen Nick Saban not take his own advice, which to me, kind of like I think what you're hinting at, this is a lot more personal than what I think a lot of people understand.
I think he also knows he's coming up towards the end of the run. I heard this a long time ago, guys, when A&M first hired Jimbo. People I knew that were close to that Bama program said it was after Bama might have lost the title game. Like, is there anything we need to do? Is there anything we need to be worried about? Or is this just one game? He says it's one game, but the one thing we need to worry about is Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. Now they've got him with that, with that backing and that facility, and that was before NIL. So I think he's flustered. Look, Bama's the best team in the country this year. There's no doubt. So he also knew when to take that shot. He's going to they're going to be incredibly tough to beat. And I don't know which team is going to be more motivated now, but I think you certainly, this is one thing I'll say and get to Cone here is I think that has the potential to be a moment for Texas A&M, like a program defining for Jimbo there. Cool. Every Aggie right now is saying, that's our guy. Let's get shirts that say despicable on, that's our coach. And the players in that locker room, you guys know what that's like. What do you think those players are thinking today at Texas A&M about Jimbo Fisher? Galvanize this football team. It'll be really interesting to see what happens on the field this year for the Aggies.
Blaine, I know you got a question about the quarterback situation at A&M while we got Billy on here.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little quarterback position, Bill. Who do you think, all right, I know it's been mixed up, but who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback for Texas A&M this year?
Okay, I'm going to say it like this. I think Connor Wigman is going to be special. Like, I think if he's your quarterback for multiple years with that recruiting class they've brought in, the talent they've got on campus now, that is a championship quarterback. He's special. And he's already got people thinking that.
Yeah.
The thing is, you got a guy that started an entire season in the SEC and did pretty good on a really bad offense. Bad line, no running game, best receiver out. And then you've got Haynes King, who, when he returned from a broken leg in bowl practices, was ripping it up in practice, those bowl practices prior to them canceling Wake Forest. He was looked better than he'd ever had. Spring game, none of them looked that great. Johnson did a lot with his wheels. If you made me pick today, I would still by about that much think Haynes, but the reality is this is a three-way quarterback battle, and it's a real one. Like it is. There's no, hey, let's keep this battle going so nobody transfers type of thing. It's a good situation to have. But my only thing with A&M being ranked so highly is they lost their whole D-line. Now they've got a bunch of 5-stars. People forget they got 2 5-stars that played sparingly last year that are ready, and they've got another one in McKinley Jackson who's going into year 3. So, but to have that and have a first-timer at quarterback, even if it's Max, he's the first time in your program, that scares me when you look at September, Miami, Mississippi State on the road, saw in Dallas. If they can get by that, they're going to be a handful for anybody, including Bama. I think September, the September scaries for A&M, if they can navigate that as whoever the QB is gets his feet under him, this could be a really, really good football team, maybe a year ahead of where everyone's kind of pointing at and going, oh boy.
Yeah, see, I got A&M really being dominant the year after this one. That's when I think it's going to be their year. That's typically how long it takes. But Billy, number one, man, I know you're busy as hell. Today was crazy for you. TexAgs, y'all are doing an unbelievable job. Nuno, all those guys over there. I appreciate you taking some time. And we got to do this a lot more, man. Football season's coming. You know what's up when it gets close to that time.
You guys are great, man. I've been enjoying watching the ride y'all are on. Just keep having fun like that. It's the most fun one for me to watch and listen to, guys.
Well, Billy, coming from you, man, who's built an empire, I really appreciate that, brother. I really do. We'll do this again soon, and let's see what Jimbo says next. And Nick says,
I'm loving this.
I am too. All right, brother.
All right,
be safe. Hey, everybody, if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and ring that bell. We're excited to be here. It's Crain & Company live, 2 to 3 Central, daily. Ring that bell. I want to hear it from coast to coast.